All right, guys. Today we're going to make a yeet beat. Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We've trained over 900,000 producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Lil Baby, Polo G, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, if I didn't already say it. I'm going to start repeating myself. So let's hop into the DAW. You will get the project files for free. So just subscribe and just go to BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio to get these for free. Okay, without further ado, let's get into sound selection. So for yeet, we're going to look at a lot of synthetic sounds. Shout out to synthetic. Let's open up Serum. And we're going to go with the pulse wave or the square wave. So we're going to switch this to analog, basic shapes, and then go to wavetable, switch it to what's called a square wave. Okay, more video game type sound. We're going to morph it and do stuff over time. So let's start with the melody. Now the BPM changes, but we're somewhere between 130 and 160. Okay, so anywhere in between. There's no right or wrong. You just have to go by what sounds cooler. Let's do 132 for now. Let's right click, go to piano roll. And you don't need to memorize keys. Just go by what you think in your brain, and then you can reverse engineer the keys and all that type of stuff. So I'm just going to start off on a tone that sounds good. I mean, that sounds simple, but that's really how I'm judging where to start. Okay, now for melody, let's change this to half beat, our snap to grid, so that we have bigger chunks to work with. We can always get microscopic later. Okay, let's go to pattern mode. Let's turn on the metronome so we're in time. Now the first technique you could use is simply an arpeggio, which is taking a simple chord and playing the notes individually. So EGB is called the E minor chord. You could do something like that, but it's pretty basic. Okay, so to give it that yeet sound, we're going to do the E minor chord, and then at the last note, we're just going to go up one note. So E minor, if you don't know, just go to the go to the chord stamp and go to minor, and just these are the notes right here, E, G, B. Okay. Okay, now we're just going to repeat this, hit Control, highlight those, hit Shift, left click, drag it over. Now we're probably going to change this over time, but I'm just hitting Control to highlight all this, hit Shift, left click, and drag. So let's say you wanted to change over time without changing the notes. Let's go to Filter, and let's add a filter. And I want this filter to move over time. I want this knob to do stuff over time. Okay, so I want to grab this LFO and drag it over top that cutoff filter. Now, only thing I'm going to do is slow down this LFO. It's a little too fast. I'm adding multiple voices here with the square wave and then detuning them a little bit. Okay, so pretty basic. Let's go to the effects. Let's add chorus, delay, reverb, and compression. Now on the left side, I'm going to drag compression below the reverb, and we're going to go to multi-band, and I'm going to turn the gain knob up. So I'm squashing all those effects with compression. So the effects add this, it adds what we need without changing the notes. Now you can go in and add individual notes like bum, bum, bum. Now with melody, if everything's moving fast, to create contrast, you can make something go slow. So bum, 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 that's slow. And again, it's that half step going from one note to the next that creates the sound. B to C and then B to C in the bass. Now that was an accident. It went dun dun. So a lot of yeet beats also have stuttering or repetitious things, or repetitive things, I should say, not repetition. We're gonna add that note just before. So it goes dun dun. Now this is probably gonna be a background drone, so let's pull it down for now. But it creates the vibe. So let's add this into the song mode where we can map out the entire song. Let's do this for 16 bars. Now let's open up another Serum. And I have some presets. I'll just load the presets up to save time. Where we put the yeet, we have a whole yeet pack that we gave to our Discord. If you want the whole pack, you can just join our Discord. It's busyworksbeats.com/Discord. Okay, so let's add these sounds. Let's figure out what sound best accents that. This one's cool. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's go to piano roll. And again, the magic is when we go from B to C, that half step. That's what gives it that yeet type sound. And again, we're going to do the stutter technique. Dun, dun. We're just going to repeat the same thing. Hit control, hit shift, drag it over. 2, 3, 4. Copy, hit shift, left click, drag it all over. So now we have contrasting elements. So this is a melody for now. I'll label this so you don't get confused. So now we need bass. Before we add drums, I'm going to add bass because I want to get the idea first. Now the bass, let's go to Serum again. Let's just load Serum because most people have Serum. Let's go to analog sine wave. Let's go to oscillator B, switch this to a sine wave, turn off the level. You'll hear where it says the mod area or the warp section. Switch this to FM from B. So it creates that type of sound. And we're going to lower the octave 2 octaves. It's going to give it that EDM type sound. Okay, we're going to put mono legato mode on in the bottom right. So we just have to determine this knob amount. We'll determine the tone. So we can actually have this as an envelope. I'm going to move a little bit quicker here with sound design. Just wherever the knob points to, that's the end point. So I'm going to have this go down over time. So it goes wow like that. Let's add some more voices. So I detuned it to make it wider and then added unison to 2 voices. So this is also how you get the house tone. That was dope. I did it by accident, but it sounded dope. Let me record this. Okay, let me record that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So I'm recording with my typing keyboard. If you go to options, typing keyboard to piano, I have that active. Let's just quantize this, Alt Q. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's just an accent bass. It's not the main one. 2, 3. In the big body, big body, big body. I got it. So we might use an 808. Let's go to the Lunt 77 kit. If you don't have this, again, you'll get the project files for free. You don't have to worry about memorizing this, but we have the link in our Discord. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/Discord and make sure you check the drum kits channel. Big body, big body. I'm gonna use the Metro kit because there's a snare in here, or the 808 Mafia kit, one of them. I forget which. Here it is. Okay, so I have the metronome on to help you count music. Go to pattern mode. We're gonna put the snare on the 3 and the 7 count. So every time the metronome hits, it's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it's on the 3 and the 7. Let's add that in. Beep, buddy, beep, buddy, beep, buddy. Okay, so if you want to duplicate something across, make sure it's chopped perfectly at the bar count before you do this, aka perfectly lined up to the grid. Hit Control B to latch paste. Okay, let's find some hi-hats. Then we'll find the 808 we like. Like this one. Let's right click, open it up a new channel. Just simply right click, fill each 2 steps. see if we can find an 808 in the Metro kit. I like this one. So it's boom, 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 boom. Now we're probably gonna have bass change ups, so I'm gonna show you something potentially. Let's just record boom, 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 boom. Okay. I'm using my typing keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beep, buddy, beep, buddy. Okay, so the last notes are funny. Let's hit Command Q or Control Q to quantize. Now this is more of a wall of bass than it is trying to be like a hard-hitting 808. I'm going to copy this little ending. So let's take out the bass for a second so you can hear the 808. Beep, betty, beep, betty. 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, so at the end, I'm going to copy this ending because I like this much better. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, right here. The 808 goes down, but it's all good. Let's change this to, let's hit shift down to move that note down. Okay, let's find a kick. Yeah, I like this one. Right click, open it up. I'm going to get a little complex here. I'm going to move a little faster because this is more advanced. We teach all this advanced stuff at premium.busyworksbeats.com. So if you're trying to learn like how to do all this stuff, look for the mixing fundamentals. It will show you how to mix the way I'm doing it. So what I'm going to do is set a sidechain from the kick to the 808. I'm going to move a little bit quicker here because, okay, so we're just going to right click sidechain to this track. I'm going to open up, actually, darn, I don't have Soothe plugged up. Darn. Let's just do FabFilter M. And we're going to set a low boundary here. And then we're going to go to expert mode. I want an external sidechain input. You don't need to memorize that. Let's go to the settings, go to the processing tab, right click, select your kick input. So now the key is from the kick as the key. Once the key hits this compressor, it will compress the 808 in this specific range that we set. Sure the kick. Okay, we need to give the kick a rhythm, so it can't sidechain without having a signal. So what I'm going to do is show you a shortcut. Just hit Control C on the 808, hit Control V on the kick, enter your piano roll, hit Alt K, change your scale to C, go to none. I learned this from, I think, Sicky Beats or I've Been Art, one of them. I forget who exactly, forgive me. But key C, none, snap above, hit accept. So now every time the kick hits, it lowers the 808 in the low frequencies right here. I'm going to set the range to a little bit lower. So now we can have them both play at the same time. Now at the ending, I'm going to just take out the 808. Now to do this, remember we have that other bass. Now we could have them both play, but that gets a little messy. So what I'm just going to do is, it won't just, how do I explain this? You can't just take out the notes and then the 808 stops. The 808 plays until it stops. So what we need to do is actually go in, see where they overlap. So it's at the very end, it looks like. And then we need to, like right here, I'm going to add a note and then turn the velocity all the way down to 0. That will cut the 808 off without doing a bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to make sure we don't overlap those notes. So I'm getting rid of the notes I played, but it's worth the overlap. So I'm just moving that muted note over a little bit. Okay, so now you can go in and mix your 808. Trying to think of plugins you guys have. I know you don't have all these plugins, but I'm trying to think of a saturation plugin. Let's try Saturn 2. I like the sound. Okay, so now let's add the accent to the beat. Okay, so now we can do stuff to the melody. We could do, first thing I'm gonna try is halftime. Now, it's not the typical halftime I'm gonna show you here. If you don't have halftime, let's actually go to gross beat. Under the presets, go to momentary, go to half speed. Change your bottom right to 4 beats by 4 beats so it stays on track when you hit stop and go. Now what you can do here, most people don't try. Now this sounds a little gritty because it's a square wave. But what you could do is go to your mix level. Let's pull this down. Now you have both of the melody and the mix and the halftime playing. So what you could do is go inside the melody, just double click, hit control up. So now the frequency isn't so low when you halftime it. And now it sounds cooler when you blend it. If I turn this knob up, you get more of the lower frequencies. So you can use that knob, you can automate this over time. Right click, create automation, so that knob goes up and down over time. If you want your beat to like switch up over time. I don't know what's causing the lag here. It must be this. Dang, something's blowing on my computer. So it may be the automation. Yeah, I think the automation is like making it blow up. But you could, dang, the automation's like destroy my computer. Okay, so I'll just leave it on a certain amount. We'll get rid of the automation for now. Let me turn off some plugins for the time being. Oh, you know what too? Let me fix something for you. You don't have to do all this, but basically if something keeps resetting, go to your browser, go to current project, initialize controls, and then right click and delete whatever event is that keeps like restarting. That's how you do that. I'm gonna go to my kick, add a little mod X. This adds a little bit of a low pass filter to it. Now the next thing is messing with your hi-hats. Okay, so the hi-hats are just tap, 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 tap all the way through. Now I'm gonna choose a different hi-hat. So that it doesn't get repetitive. Let's go to Lunch 77 kit. Just gonna use the Metro sounds for now. And let's go to close hi-hat. Okay, let's right click, open this up. Hit Control L, send it to the mixer. And I'm just gonna go in and create another hi-hat pattern as if it's another instrument. Okay, or like percussion. So let's do something different. Change our snap to grid to 1/3 beat. So I'm just gonna add these little ta ta ta. Now hit Alt to reset your velocity if it ever goes to 0. Okay, so now I want glitches. Let's go to snap to grid 1/2 beat. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Glitch. Okay, so let's take these notes, drag it out. And I'm going to select the slice tool, right click to get rid of any excess, hit shift to do a vertical slice. We're going to highlight these, hit control, and then hit Alt U, and that will chop it up. I'm going to do one more thing. Go to the control on the bottom left. If you don't see it, there's an ellipses at the bottom. Just left click, grab that. Go to control, and let's go to where it says fine pitch. And now we can have the hi-hats glide down in pitch. So that's how people do all these dancing hi-hats. You can sit here and make yours more complex. I don't like the really complex hi-hats. Okay, so I need to go to 1/4 beat to get into this measure I'm trying to hit. everybody's hi-hat's going to be different. Also, here's a trick. If you hit shift left or right, you can move your hi-hats around just to try out different rhythms. It's a pretty cool rhythm. I'm going to go inside the 808, just fade it out a little bit so it's not as long. Let's see if we can add our effects back. So now we just need vocals. I'm going to try one more melodic thing. Let me see if I can get rid of the ARP. See, the ARP is like that background, and once you get rid of it, the whole beat's kind of gone. So let's create another melody that's not the bell. Then we'll wrap this. Okay, so first thing I like to do when I'm trying to create a new melody, instead of thinking that you need a new waveform, sometimes you just need effects. So let's go to the effects first. I'm going to turn on flanger, chorus, delay, compressor, and then the reverb. So now you're thinking in a whole different way when you write notes. So normally without the delay, I wouldn't play it. But now that I have that delay, I can actually hear what it sounds like. I'm going to record this so you don't have to memorize this. Let's just add some kind of Lil Uzi type sound. Actually, let me go back. I'm trying to think of an ending. Kind of like that. Okay, so just little tickles here and there. Let's hit Control Q. But actually, let's hit Alt Q, because if we hit Control Q, it makes the notes longer. Even Alt Q made them longer. This is tricky because I'm going to show you something. Let's hit Control Q. Let's hit Control A to where it highlights everything. And then let's hit Alt and left click and make those notes shorter, because the notes I played weren't super long. And that changes the whole bounce of the sound. I might add another 808 in here. So I'm just adding another 808 so it goes boom, boom. There we go. That small little change. So it needs tightening up, of course, and it needs vocals mainly. My ears hearing dun. I want to see what happens. This is just an experiment. Let's make this unique. We may be able to make this less, like, how do I say it? Let's get rid of all these notes, the EG. Okay, that way we still have the same structure, but it's not overfilling. There we go. Now here you could do change ups with your bass to make it a little more bouncy. Like little jumps like that. but you would use the other bass. So let's hit shift. Actually, let's just go to a new pattern. Right click, find the empty. Find first empty. And let me up this because clearly my thing is too low. All right. Now let's go to, what was it? Pattern 4. Okay, so we want to add this bass in there, like to jump around every now and again. Like little dun dun, like random little things. So I'm just gonna play random notes. We'll fix the notes. Okay, so I'm just adding little jumpy notes. Now for this, what I'm gonna do here is highlight the bass and then highlight the 808, hit Control G so that they're grouped. The reason I'm doing this is because I have what's called ghost channels on, and now I can go in and see where the notes overlap, and I can manually just make sure they don't overlap. Let's click here, go to 808, and now I can see, okay, there's a note here. Let me get rid of that 808 so it doesn't clash. Tighten this one up. Okay, let's go back in. Let's change this to the actual patch, which is Serum. Let's hit Alt Q to quantize, hit enter. This needs an ending note. And again, that BC is the key to the sound, a half step. Hit Control L to make the notes elongate. That one should be. Let me get rid of one of these 808s. So again, you're gonna change up stuff over time. Oh. Just gonna get rid of this in between 808 so it doesn't go boom, boom, boom. It just goes boom, boom. Also, I gotta go into the kicks and make sure that kick doesn't do the third middle note. There we go. That gap makes us listen to those jumps in the bass more. Now again, the hi-hats could be tightened up a little bit more. So again, to experiment, hit shift and just move them around. This is my original pattern. And again, you can experiment with mutes. So again, it depends on the vocal performance truly, but the last touch I would do is just going in and adding little mutes into the 808. So I think on pattern 7, if you double click, go inside, you can go inside your 808. And remember that mute note we added? Just add a note and just turn the velocity all the way down. So mutes are also notes. So I want to go mute. So you can add little mutes in there. Now remember, you have to mute it when those notes overlap. Or you don't have to, but I am. So I'm gonna mute, so it goes boom, mute. So where that middle kick or middle 808 was, I turned it into a mute. So again, you want to rap while you're making the beat. I need big buddy, big buddy, big buddy, big buddy. I don't have my auto tune on. 808 could be distorted a lot more. So let's switch it to a different mode. Let's go to amp mode. Or let's go to saturation mode. So you can push it harder. I'm just gonna keep it where it was. Trying to figure out where my hi-hat is though. It's gonna level out the hi-hat. Again, you can spend more time mixing and doing all this. Now the last thing I would try is changing the pitch of the entire beat. Now the question is, how do you do this easily? There is no easy way. Because in FL, you can't just move the master pitch knob. It doesn't change everything. Your 808s and stuff still sound the same. But slowing it down would be ideal. Can't tell if they're transposing the notes or not. Sounds like they're transposing the samples, but not the third-party instruments, but it's hard to tell. So what I'm going to do is solo something. Like, did that go down 6 notes? No, it doesn't sound like it. It's just detuning it, but it's not going down 6 notes. That's the only problem with this. Oh, you know what? This is 600 cents. Okay, that's not 600. Yeah, 600 cents. This should go down an octave. I feel like that's not an octave. But you could slow down the master pitch. That's the last touch. Also, you could swap out the clap. Switch out the clap. I like this tone, sounds cool. So I don't want to spend a decade on this. That's the foundation. Again, the touch-ups are going to come from you actually recording with somebody. All the little stuff that you would add on top, that's the foundation. But when you go to add stuff over top, that's when it comes to life, especially with the vocals. Maybe I'll do part 2 with the vocals. If you want part 2 with the vocals, leave a like below, and I will do a part 2 with the vocals. Okay? I'll play it twice through just as a recap. All right. So thank you for watching. Again, if you want the project files for free, just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thank you guys. Subscribe if you're new. Links below. Peace.